Welcome adventurers to our first Day Zero build for Critical Role Heroes of Exandria. We have Allura Vysoren, Arcanist of Tal'Dorei. So, I'll be upfront with you guys. For this set of Day Zeros, I did run into a bit of an issue. Normally I like to spread the symbols out for all the different characters over the set to make sure each has equal representation. But we are seeing a bit more theming in Heroes of Exandria in terms of symbol identity and character trait identity. So things might be a little clumped. So we'll start with Allura. She is a 6-hand size 28 health character with Chaos, Life, and Void as her symbols. I chose the Void symbol today to use as my core symbol, with of course Life and Chaos attuned cards. She is a Mage trait, which means that she usually wants to be playing with a lot of action cards. As we can see here with her Enhance, twice per turn, you get to remove one action card from your card pool, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. A really great way to ignore progressive difficulty, both offensively and defensively, and score some free momentum. And she has Response, Commit one foundation, so commit her and one foundation. After an attack is played, seal it. And then your next check to play a card gets +3. Excuse me, I'm just gonna fix that there. So a very powerful defensive seal ability to basically take all the abilities away from your opponent's best attack, and this card pool clearing, momentum gaining mechanic. So all of the mages in this set want to revolve around action cards. So the main issue with them is which action cards do you want to play? How are you going to find a symbiosis of your action cards versus your character versus your attack lineup? And for Allura, she wants a specific type of action card. She wants action cards that don't leave your card pool on their own by removing themselves as cost, and that don't gain too much ability staying in your card pool, such as the attack and speed bonus for City Rampage. Obviously, you could remove City Rampage from your card pool. You would still keep the +2 to all of your checks, but you wouldn't get the +1/+1. So we want action cards that stay in our card pool and that don't have a benefit in the card pool. So before we go to our attack lineup, we're actually going to go over the action cards I chose. We start with Magic Boost. This is a 1/5, 1 low block spell card with the Chaos Attune symbol. It says Enhance. This attack gets +2 speed and +2 damage. So 2 speed and 2 damage on a common action card. That's really, really good. So is that 1 low block. Very nice. So this is something we can play into our card pool, give our attack 2 speed and 2 damage, and then remove it from our card pool to gain a momentum. Very powerful indeed. So a very small, kind of unassuming action that goes the extra mile in Allura. Defensively, we have Fortitude of the Armor Titan. I love this action. This is a 5/5 with a 0 mid block, excuse me. As a static, when it would leave our card pool, we remove it. We're probably going to be removing it anyway. As an Enhance, this attack loses all keywords. Attacks your rival plays this turn get +1 difficulty. So a little bit to unpack here. Defensively, on our rival's first attack, we would play this by checking a 5. Then we could make the attack that our rival's playing lose all of its keywords. So that includes keyword abilities like Echo, Throw, Powerful, all of that. But also it loses all keywords so that your rival can't use like combo abilities or any effects that say, oh, your spell attack gets this or your punch attack gets this. You're taking away all those keywords so that it can't gain access. It's almost like a pseudo seal. So you're almost doubling up on Allura's defensive response. But also you're giving every attack they play for the rest of the turn +1 difficulty. It's breaker on every single one of their attacks. And then you can just remove this from your card pool to get a momentum. That is just incredibly powerful and an amazing defensive tech for Allura. Offensively, we have Maximum Hardening. This is a 2/5 with a 2 mid block. As a form, So anytime we could play like an attack from our hand, we may play this action. For the rest of our turn, our attacks get +2 damage. So she herself does not give any stats. She gives us a bonus to play a block or an attack if we want to steal our own attack, but she doesn't gain any sort of stats. So giving all of our attacks +2 damage for the rest of the turn, and then we can just remove this from our card pool to gain a momentum, that's huge. And a very, very strong start to any sort of turn that we want to start doing damage. And as a response, after we block an attack with this card, that attack gets -4 damage. So that is both on like throws or on partial blocks, -4 damage. And we may commit 1 foundation to build this card face down. So if we need a bit of an extra build, we can build this face down as a foundation, or we could leave it on our card pool, remove it, gain a momentum after we gave that -4 damage to the attack that we blocked. So very versatile, both offensively and defensively, whether it can stay in the card pool or we can cause it to build. Either way, this action is going to be putting in a lot of work for us. And finally, surprising strength. This is a deviation from what I was talking about earlier. It's a 3/5 with a 1 low block. Enhance, this attack gains powerful 2 or EX2. Add this card to your momentum. So instead of removing it to gain a momentum, it's becoming a momentum itself, and it's giving us something to do with that momentum, either powerful 2 or EX2. EX being we can spend any number of momentum, and if we do, we get +2 speed for each momentum spent. Powerful is the same thing for damage, so we can spend all of our momentum for speed or damage on one final attack. So it gives us something to do with that momentum as we're generating it. And onto our attacks, we have Crotch Lightning, which I think is hilarious. This is a 5/3, 3 low for 5 with a 2 high block and the spell keyword. As a blitz, if we have an action or a spell in our card pool, this attack gains stun 2. Action or spell. Technically, it would count itself, because it is a spell in our card pool. So I don't know if they meant for that to say an action or another spell. Maybe that would make more sense. But technically, if you play this as the only card in your card pool, it technically fulfills its own blitz condition of having a spell in your card pool. So a 3 low for 5 with stun 2 isn't bad. It's a pretty good opener, especially if you played like a maximum hardening first. So you would be playing it on a 6, but then it's a 3 low for 7 with stun 2, and then you can snap a momentum. So pretty good, decent opener, and I just think Crotch Lightning is funny. Next we have Throat Slitter, which is one of the more brutal cards that we're seeing in Critical Role. A 5/3, 5 mid for 5, 1 mid block, powerful 2, and weapon. There again, powerful, giving us something to do with the momentum that we're hoarding. As a blitz, our rival discards a card. And if this attack deals damage, our rival draws a card. Well, if we're getting rid of the only card in their hand, and we can make this lethal, it doesn't matter if it deals damage. It doesn't matter that they're going to draw. So just a very powerful uncommon attack that will open up the door for us to do a lot more damage. We have Channeling Spell Seal. This is her ultra rare attack. A 4/3, 4 high for 4 with a 2 mid block. It has Deadlock Stun 2, which means if your rival has at least 11 foundations, you can use the Stun 2 on this ability, on this attack. It has Charge and Spell. As a blitz, our next attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage. So a little bit of paying some stats forward into a finisher, maybe into like a Throat Slitter, making it a 6 mid 6 that's going to cause our rival to discard a card, something like that. Could be good. And then response after this attack deals damage, draw 1 card. So it's very unassuming on its own, but it does leave that threat open. Do you want me to draw a card, and then maybe you can't deal with the attack that I just buffed? Sure, I just buffed it 1 speed, 1 damage, but you don't know what's coming in. So It could be something that I buff to high hell, give it surprising strength, give it powerful 2, and then just dunk on you. It's impossible to tell. And then it also has this really cool static that after this, your rival blocks this attack, seal their block. So cards like Faith Shield don't work. Cards that have Breaker don't work. Cards like Airy Smiles don't work, because you can just turn them off as soon as the block is played. You just take away all the abilities on the card that they're blocking with, and that could save you on a turn. You never know. It's just a really fun little flow piece. Next we have Falling Debris, a 5/3, 4 high for 6 with a 2 high block. It has Breaker 1 and Ranged. There's that Breaker keyword we were just talking about. As a Blitz, this attack gets +X speed and +X damage. X equals your momentum. So while we're storing up all of that momentum to use on one big attack, this becomes a big attack that we don't even have to worry about. Because if we have like 3 momentum, this is now a 7 high 9. That's ridiculous. And then Deadlock Blitz, we get to add the top 2 cards of our deck to our momentum. So if our rival has at least 11 foundations, we can play the Deadlock Blitz and then the top Blitz. So we can just stack all of those stats on together. Next we have Tri-Gravity Beam, a 4/3, 4 mid for 5 with a 1 mid block. It's got Deadlock, Stun 3, and Ranged. So I've noticed that there's not a lot of Deadlock hate in the format right now, mainly because people just build to 15 or 20 foundations and force your rival to deal with it. So I thought having some Deadlock threats, Tri-Gravity Beam, Channeling Spell Seal, Falling Debris, some reasons for your rival to stay out of Deadlock could keep them from building an impenetrable wall that you just can't break through. As an enhance, we get to destroy one of our own foundations, or sacrifice it. If you have 2 other attacks in your card pool, look at your rival's hand and remove 1 card from it. That is a very powerful ability, especially if you're comboing it with cards like Throat Slitter, where you're just ripping cards out of your rival's hand and forcing them to take big damage. And then we have Enhance. If at least 1 of your cards has been removed this turn, this attack gets +2 damage. So if we're just playing Allura, removing an action, we not only get a momentum, but we can also give this attack 2 damage, so it becomes a 4 mid 7. All in all, not bad. It's really good for ripping a card out of your rival's hand, so that they just can't block as much damage as possible. And lastly, Multiple Bites. This is a 4/3, 3 mid for 6 with a 2 mid block and the Fury keyword. Enhance, if you have removed a card this turn, draw 1 card. Very simple. It just gets us another card in our hand for when we're removing our action cards in order to gain momentum. And then for assets, I chose Vertical Maneuvering Equipment, a 2/5 with a 1 mid block. As an enhance, we can spend 1 momentum. This attack gets +3 or -3 speed, and we get to change the zone. So if, say, Tri-Gravity Beam lets us look at our rival's hand, now we know what the block zones are, we can just change the zone to make sure that our rival can never completely block us, or even maybe not block us at all. Very powerful ability there. And then we can turn this card sideways, we can commit it for an extra 2 damage if we really need it. Onto our foundations, we have Magic Trap. This is a 2/5 with a 2 high block and the spell keyword. I can already tell I'm going to love this card in any mage character. As a response, once per turn, after we play an action card, our rival's next check to play a card gets -1. So again, with cards like our Breaker abilities, with Fortitude of the Armor Titan, we can just mess with our rival's checks all over the place. And this card is missing some very important text. It does not say, failing the check does not end the combat phase. So unlike Breaker, which says, failing this check will not end your rival's combat phase, if we play Fortitude of the Armor Titan and trigger 2 of these, so our rival's next check gets -2, and then their next attack gets +1 difficulty, if they fail that check, say they check a 3, so they checked a 1 on maybe like a 6 or a 7, they either turn their whole board sideways, or their turn's over. So that's what makes Fortitude of the Armor Titan a very dangerous card in conjunction with cards like Magic Trap for characters like Allura to play defensively. It is really, really powerful there. We have some Defend the City, a 2/6 with a 1 high block. as a response that is tenacious or playable while committed. We can flip this after we commit any number of cards due to a rival effect. We get to build the top card of our deck face down, swapping basically a commit for a ready. 1 second. As a response, we can sacrifice 1 foundation. After an attack is played, choose any number of players. They each gain 1 health. We're just going to be choosing ourselves. And that's if we play an attack or if our rival plays an attack. So we can just keep our health up while we're basically taking all the abilities off of our rival's attacks while messing with their checks. We are just defensive and just plowing through slowly but surely. It's more of a control build, but also we do have these powerful dunks thanks to surprising strength. And that is Allura Vysoren, Arcanist of Tal'Dorei. The more I worked on her, the more I see how she can be really, really cool. I didn't want to go the easy route with like pure chaos build with City Rampage and a whole bunch of 5 checks or 5 diffs, because I had a feeling that most of the other mages I'm gonna play or gonna build for are gonna be on the chaos symbol, so I thought I'd move away from that a little bit. And like I said, I knew instantly when I saw Fortitude of the Armor Titan, I knew how I wanted to play this character. I knew I wanted maximum hardening and magic boost for my damage boosting. Fortitude of the Armor Titan as one of my key defensive pieces. I'd probably even put a 4th one in here if I could find a slot for it. Because it's really, really powerful defensively, especially since you don't have to worry about it clogging your card pool, because you can just remove it and get a momentum. But that is all I've got to say for Day 0 of Allura Vysoren. What do you guys think of her? Are you excited to play this character? If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and let me know in the comments what you thought. And if you're new here or you just haven't subscribed for some reason, please consider subscribing. The support helps me out greatly. I will be doing a Day 0 build for every character in Critical Role Heroes of Exandria. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of me over the next 2 weeks. So until then, take care, travelers.